Minimize my go-to training sidebar. And just like we always do, we just look at a transaction and speak to what we can do to add content to these transactions, to our accounts to help facilitate better, faster files. So clicking on a transaction, again, continue to emphasize, always come back to your transaction file. Work with it, revise it, update it, manage that file. Because you really are replacing that manila folder filled with paper with an online transaction file filled with digital forms and documents. And that's really the difference, digital as opposed to paper. Clicking on the file name, just again, reemphasize files, tabs, details. Not really much we can do about the details page, honestly, in terms of preparation for it. Because you benefit from MLS import, it's not as much a low need case to template details and things like that. That's going to be specific to your client and to your transaction file. Contacts tab, moving left to right across the tabs. My sense is this is just a quick review, so hopefully these things are becoming to look more and more familiar, and will even be more familiar once you actually start cranking in there on your own with your fingers in your account. Contacts, add your contacts to your transaction. In the Lite View, predominantly for autofilling forms and contracts. Pro View to not only serve that purpose, autofilling fields, but for giving participation into your online files if you choose to. So contacts. In Lite, not really too much more to them than that. In Pro, they take on other features. Forms, online forms library. This is something that we can significantly prepare for ourselves when using templates, transaction templates. And this is one of the fundamental things that we're going to set up when creating our template, is a form packet, because you know what forms you're going to need each time you have a new client type. Get them into your files quickly, pre-filled with content, auto-fill them with transaction file detail. Significantly reduce time, energy, and effort when adding forms, typing them up, and preparing them for your clients and prospects. But forms, aspect, element of a transaction file. Documents. Documents is another aspect of your template or another aspect of your file that can be templated. You can add documents, whatever you cannot find in the forms library, remembering that forms, online, fillable forms in the forms library. You insert or import forms from the online forms library. Documents are everything else. For lack of creativity, I'm just going to go with the home service warranty contract. It may be a document. It's not available in the forms library, but it is a document that I would like to include each time I have a new transaction file. Whatever that document might be, you can upload it to your template as well. But document management, document storage within your transaction file, those are the features. History, not going to be able to template history, so we'll just leave that tab alone. But that is a transaction file. In the Lite View, the 5 tabs of a transaction. The two that we're really going to fundamentally work on with our templates are forms and documents. So let's do that now. Right from our transaction, I'm just going to slide straight up the page there, top third, center screen, templates. Clicking on templates. We've created one previously. We created that single-family residential buyer packet template. We just gave it a name. So what are the features of the template? I got to show you that first, right? Forms and documents. We add our forms in. These were the forms, and I'm a minimalist, so I'm sorry if that leaves you a little bit underwhelmed, but I'm a minimalist. I'm just going to add the ones I know I'm going to need. Every time in Austin, Texas, every time I have a new buyer, I would require information about brokerage services. I would require the buyer-agency relationship, and hopefully down the road we'll get into purchase contracts and maybe some amendments and addendums. Those are the ones I know I'm going to need every time. Those are the ones that I'm going to template. You could be sitting there saying, well, I'm going to add every form I could potentially use so I don't have to go looking for them in the future. And that is a fine way to do it as well. You can add the forms that you are going to benefit from automatically adding to your transactions. Same with documents. Upload the documents that you want to automatically include in your templates. So those are the quick features. Now we're just going to do it. Clicking back on templates, I would like to phrase create new template. Go arrow. Predominant first step, give the template a name. We've done the buyer, so let's do the listing now. Single-family residential listing. And again, name yours so that you are going to identify them. When you see that one, yes, this is the template that I will need when I have that new type of client or prospect. Be consistent, something to that. My account is for a brokerage, so there may be, if anybody in this office is what we consider a super user, an office manager, a transaction coordinator, a designated realtor, these templates can be created at either the office level, as you see there, brokerage, if you have that type of brokerage account, or agent level, so user level. If most of you are agent levels users, you can create your own personal transaction templates as well. But from an office standpoint, you can make that very consistent file for every one of your agents to work with. So only requirement is to give it a name. If you are not a super user, you will not see these features. You will know you're a super user because you will see these and others that we're not going to get into during this session. But just give it a name. Click Save. Bottom middle right there, Save. This is our template. What do we want to add to this transaction template? So when we start our new file from the template, these forms are automatically added. I would like to add new form. Click on the go arrow. Form library. We're going to select the forms. Again, I'm going to try to not be such a minimalist here. We're going to go through. We're going to select forms that you would consistently add to that type of transaction file. Double click on the folder name, rapid succession to 2 clicks, or if it's easier, plus sign. You can click once on the plus sign to expand these fields, or to expand these folders. So this is a listing packet that we're creating. Maybe it would be good to have that addendum. More likely than not, you're going to have some type of feature like that. Maybe exclusive right to sell as well. Scrolling down, which ones would you most commonly use? Add them in. Like I said, I tend to be a bit of a minimalist here, so I typically only choose the ones that I know I'm going to need. So I'll add those in. Using the Control key, press and hold the Control key to select those additional forms. Scrolling up, trying to make sure I think I got most of them. That would be good to start with. But again, you know which ones you like to use. Select them, add them in, add selected forms. We're adding these forms to our template. And again, you could add as minimalist like me, or you could add any form you might use, and then just either ignore it or delete it if you don't end up using it for that particular transaction file. Because once you create the file, you're not affecting the template anymore. Right now we are still working on our template. We know that we're working on our template because in big black font in the left-hand side of the screen it says Template, Forms List. Is that all we can do with forms? No, it's not. No, it is not. We can now go into the form. I'm going to click on the form name to launch the form in Form Editor, templating my form within my transaction template. Typing up customary features of this listing contract or listing agreement, buyer agency agreement. There's a lot of customary features of those. We can pre-fill them here and now. I'm going to shrink this column of forms. I'm in the top third right-hand side of the screen, clicking on that red minus sign to collapse that column so I can see. Some of this content is going to be very client or property specific. Owner's name, dates, listing price, even this transfer following property. But maybe if there's a consistent phrase there that you want to add, that owner will consistently include appliance packages, dishwashers, refrigerators. If these things are consistent, common, you can add it in. So just type. I'm just going to type or paste customary content. We'll see at the file level you can adjust it still, but if it's going to help benefit you because it's consistently the same, add it in. Here in Austin, typically 5 or 6. We'll ask for 6. It's a demonstration, right? We go out on a limb. Within a number of days, I think that's the post, so we would say maybe 120 or 90 or something like that. Scrolling down the page here a bit, are there other features that we could just add content to? Owner represent best of their knowledge and belief, roof plumbing. Is there a consistent phrase there? Not applicable maybe. As is. Again, if there's just type or paste. You know what you might add into these fields a little bit better than me, hopefully better than me. I know what they would be on Texas forms, but not as much Alabama. But hopefully, again, just giving you the idea, this might be a great place here. Checkboxes, are these routinely the same? Would you like to never have to check yes or no in these checkboxes again? Template, so let's add a few. It also gives me a chance to highlight a keyboard shortcut. If you're a fan of keyboard shortcuts, the space bar on your keyboard will add or remove the check mark. So if you're looking at that yes on paragraph 1 of owner instructions, space bar, tab to the next. You authorized to report the sale? I think so. Yes, I believe so. I believe so. Why not? Home protection. I think I would change, add those routinely as yes. But so you can preset these values. There's a lot of checkboxes here you could preset if they're routinely the same. So not to belabor the point here, hopefully you're gaining that appreciation that yes, I can go through and pre-fill these features of my form. I can go to the next form now. And again, I like to show clicking on that expand. I did make changes. Expand the window. Maybe now I wanted to go to another net proceeds or profile sheet. Let's go to the profile sheet. You will be prompted to save your changes. That's why I'm leaving this editor just to prop that out. Save your changes. Absolutely, I want to save those changes because I want to pre-fill these forms to save myself redundant data entry, to save time, energy, and effort when starting up that new client or prospect, preparing the agreements and the forms and contracts. So type up one, type up the next, add this customary content to your template. Again, we're just working in the template. We're going to see how to use the template here in just a few more minutes. We're going to get through these features, probably create a clause next, so you can see how to set up that content, and then we'll start a file from our template and go through those steps. And then at the end, after that, we'll probably talk about some more of the faxing services so that you can get a better sense of how to manage the file. Once you have all this stuff set up, then what do you do once you to ongoing to be able to follow up and deliver details and forms and contracts and documents. Probably a lot of input fields here. Sometimes when it loads these forms up for the very first time, it can take a little bit longer, especially it appears like there's a lot of data input sheets on this form, so you just want to let it run its course here a little bit. Good time for questions. If there are any, please don't hesitate to type them into that chat section of the GoToTraining sidebar. See if I can minimize this, move forward here at all a little bit. But this is that residential listing input, I think. So we want to go through, are there customary features of this? Some things that are routinely the same, checkboxes, fillable fields. Add those details to your online forms. Pre-fill. I like to call this pre-fill. And apologies, patience is not my strong suit, so I'm just going to stop that here. A lot of these could be, we collapse that, shrink that window so we can see these a little bit larger again. Still just working in our template. Fillable fields. Can you pre-fill some of them? This one might be one you could pre-fill if you're here. Percentage. Something to that effect. So you could add these features if these are routinely the same. I don't know if I checked those boxes right. Some of this won't dry. You won't know what that stuff is on a templating basis, but yeah, some of these features might be routinely. Anyway, fill them out. pre-fill with, and don't be afraid to add too much detail, because as we'll see, we'll be able to adjust any pre-fill at the file level. So there's no harm in adding too much information. So we'll definitely put that out there. There's no downside to adding too much information, because you can simply adjust it at the file level. So type them up. I'm going to exit out of the form editor here, exiting out, go through form templates within your transaction. So we're creating our template, our transaction template. We added forms. We then typed up or pre-filled those customary form fields. Documents. Are there documents that we want to, again, you're establishing what features should be automatically included when you want to start a new file. Are there documents? If there are, I think there are, I would like to upload a document. Clicking on the arrow to go to the upload feature. File types I can upload: PDFs, Word documents, image files, JPEG, bitmap, GIF. All these are supported file types. Clicking on the blue plus sign to add. Find the appropriate folder. See here, let me go over to the Notepad folder, and maybe we have some standard document that you like to add, maybe a survey or something like that. Let's just add the survey in. Maybe some people don't know what a survey looks like, so you give them an example to kind of jog that memory. If there are multiple documents you want to add, the one I kind of fall back on sometimes is that home service warranty contract, maybe a document that you have if you work routinely with the same provider. But add them in, upload them to your template. Upload documents to our transaction template. Continue to emphasize that we are still working on our template. You're defining the features of a single-family residential. What do I want to automatically include right at that start? Documents that you may want to include. And then the Lite View, that's the template. Pro View, more features, more templating options, but for Lite, forms, and documents. Our template has now been set. I can come back at any time and click back on templates there, top third, center screen, templates. I can come back at any time, review it, update it, tweak it, manage it, if it's a value. If form versions are ever updated to, let's just say, the Alabama form for listing agreement or the Montgomery form for the listing agreement gets revised in 2012 or 2013, those revisions happen automatically. Your forms library will be updated with the new version. Your template will be updated with your new version. Any instance of that form that you have in a template or quick start group will be updated with that revised form. So you don't have to worry about revisions, only if you want to go and adjust any of your other features. So templates come back in. Next content feature I want to talk about is clauses. A lot quicker to talk about clauses. So to click here, I'm in the top third of the page, right-hand side, clauses. Standard language. Standard language that you like to type in to your forms when you're in specific sales situations. You can generate this routine or standard provision language clause, whatever you want to call it. I have one final walkthrough, but it's so easy I'm just not even going to show you that one. I would like to add new clause. Click on the go arrow. Title of our clause is, I'm going to go with the seller leaseback. Language used when a seller would like to lease property back after closing and funding. You may even have the clause library going already. Maybe you have a little Word document that you maintain and access and copy and paste into your forms today. So if you have them already, just replicate them in your clause library so that you can access them from your forms editor. So when you have that new requirement, you can access this. It is also a feature, that brokerage feature. If you are that office manager, you can make these office level. Otherwise, saving, bottom right corner, saving, that's a clause. Content, titles, type it once. So it's consistent. Each time you have that requirement, you have the consistent language that you use every time. And you paste it. You don't have to remember what it is. You don't have to type it. Your best guess. It's actually available to be pasted into your forms and contracts. So at that point in the Lite view, honestly, that really is the content that you can generate. Pro view, more features, more opportunities. See those in the follow-up session for getting to know the Pro. But in Lite, that's how we are going to generate content for this account. Clicking on transactions, top third of the page, shading to the left a little bit, clicking on transactions. Then we want to go through the steps to just start up a new transaction and use our template and import from the MLS and just show those opportunities. And then when we get into the file, we'll talk about maybe a little bit more about the faxing, Instinet fax, and other management features like that. So transaction files we've created previously, files we would like to start now. I would like to create new transaction file, arrow to go to that start page. Predominantly same start page. The only difference is that when we get to start adding content to our file, we have templates to choose from. So still going to choose the same transaction file, and this is going to be Hutchins, Molly, and we'll just use the same one we just created, single family residential listing prospects. Because maybe it is just a prospect to get started. You got the phone duty call or referral, something to that effect. And then we're going to start adding some details to our new file, residential listing. Do we have a data source? Have the property been sold, expired, withdrawn, listing previously, terminated, anything like that, where you can draw from that MLS into your new file? Let's just do that to show that we can. And you can. So if there is an older MLS ID, if it is sold, expired, withdrawn, terminated, you can still pull it into your new file to get the address and that content auto-filling. We might have to clean up our file a little bit, but certainly better to get that content in there if it's available. The big step now, the big option. Import from. I would like to use a transaction template or copy information from an existing transaction. We are going to use a transaction template. Which template do we want to use? Our buyer packet, our listing packet? Listing packet. When we chose listing packet, we chose residential listing. We were selected as the listing agent. We can change it. If we're neither or both, we can make that adjustment. But we will add ourselves as the listing agent, our broker as the listing broker. Sliding over to the bottom right-hand side of the screen, saving our new file. A bunch of things are going to happen here right now. Our template is being applied. That's all the template is being used for, to say, oh, we're going to add this content to the new file. Import from the MLS. Content's been brought in. That has been completed. Our template is now done. Anything going forward from this screen forward is file specific. Everything here forward is specific to this transaction file. The template did its job, I hope. It's done. It's added the forms. It's up. It's added the documents. It's completed that content or added that content to our new file. It's done. Now it's our file-specific information, our address, our city, state, zip, our list price, our inclusions and exclusions, our list date and expiration date, things of that nature. So just to be sure, these blue icons are the calendars. If we have a list date, maybe it's a pocket listing, they need the weekend to kind of get it ready. And make it easy on ourselves here. Pick those dates out in the future. Any other content that we want to add to this point? Add your details. Contacts tab. Moving from the Details tab to the Contacts left to right. Again, just to show you will be prompted. Not that you're ever going to forget to save. And sometimes, quite frankly, maybe it's just easier to go and click the next tab and be prompted to save. I would like to add a transaction contact. Clicking on the arrow there to go, add my seller. Because this is just asking me what type of contact. Now it's asking me for the contact's name. Molly Hutchins. And she does live in the property. And I got her cell phone number. Whoops. Throw a little Austin at you here. I got her email address. And I want to add Molly to my transaction file. Or excuse me, I want to add Molly to my transaction contacts and my contacts database. So as I scroll over to the right or slide over to the right-hand side of the screen, clicking on the Save Diskette, two things happen, right? Molly is added to my transaction file. Molly is saved to my contacts database. Top right corner of the screen, top third, top right, contacts. Saved in both places. There's husbands and wives, brothers and children, parents and grandparents. Add them in separately to ensure that your contacts are auto-filling all those printed name fields under all those signature lines. Forms tab, moving through, creating our new, because time, energy, and effort. The whole idea was this was going to save us time. Well, there's the time saver right there. Forms added. Do I need to add some? I would like to add new form. We can get to the forms library. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to need that proceeds. I can remove that form from the file. You're working file specific now. Moving it here does not affect your template in any way. Moving it from here simply removes it from this file. We're going to leave it in. I would like to auto-populate my forms. Yes, I do want to auto-populate my forms with my transaction file information. Select that action, clicking on the Go arrow. Populated with details, dates, and contact information. So, in theory here, we created our template and we typed up routine or customary fields at the template level. We now just auto-populated those same forms with our transaction file information, contacts, address, city, state, zips. So when we click on the exclusive listing agreement, we open that form in Forms Edit mode. A lot of our fields are going to be populated with detail, saving us quite a bit of time, energy, and effort when typing up and completing these agreements and contracts. Going to go ahead, click on the minus sign to shrink that window. Okay. Making lemonade out of lemons here. If you ever come across features like this where fields do not seem to be auto-populating, right? This should be auto-populated with the owner's name. As far as I can tell, this should be the seller's name here. We want to get that fixed. If you come across features like this that don't seem like they're functioning, don't think that it's just that way. I would say I think start with I think it needs to be fixed. And I'm going to get this one fixed. Because that should be populating with seller's name and listing date or termination date here, I think. This looks like a list date. So that's not populating. We need to get that fixed up. So add it in. If we know it, I think we did. We added it. Looks like that whole field needs to be expanded a little bit. Terminate it. Year out. Add it in. Let's see. All right. Well, let's verify some other content that we added. There's our compensation that we added, our days of termination. So our pre-fill from our file, our pre-fill from our template has served us very well. Type or paste, all these check boxes on the right-hand side are all completed. All of this content is done. Our import from or auto-populate from our file is the one that failed us. Our template treat it as well. So nice features there at the bottom as well, getting that content populated from our contact information. So now we're ready to deliver this outbound, right? It's typed up, it's ready to go, it's completed. Scrolling back to the top of the page, do you want to right from here send outbound via fax or email? Go through, we're going to type up the rest of our forms. I'm going to exit from the form editor. Then maybe you want to create that form packet if we're at that point to get signatures, initials, not only on the agreement but on the profile sheets and the other forms that we have added in. So now you're going to start again preparing them. You type them up, you had them automatically added, pre-filled, auto-filled, typed them up, verified the content was there, completed them. Now you want to deliver them. Let's do a print to PDF. So I'm going to select, let's choose 2. I'm in the middle section of the screen, left-hand side. I'm selecting the 2 forms that I want to deliver to my client or prospect here. I would like to show you the print forms to PDF option because we want to merge them together into one PDF. So instead of sending 2, I want to send 1. Print selected to PDF, click on the go arrow. We're now going to have the opportunity to put them into a sort order, which they look like they are. If they start off just in alphabetical order, I could certainly move them using the green arrows up or down. But again, so this is how they're going to merge them. Exclusive right will be the first, I don't know, 2, 3 pages. Residential profile sheet will be pages 3 through 5 or 6. Looks like a good order. Clicking on the Save Diskette in the bottom right corner. We're going to save this PDF. It's going to merge the 2 individual into one comprehensive that I can take actions to save and email to my client, print to paper, however I'm going to now deliver it to them for signatures and initials. I'm using Internet Explorer, so it's throwing me this open, save, or cancel option here at the bottom. I'm going to cancel. I typically just click on the link. Center third of the page, middle third, clicking on to open the PDF. Review it, verify it, print it, save it, take appropriate actions to deliver it to your client. Get those signatures and initials. I guess just 4 pages there. Get those signatures and initials on our typed up forms. Closing that out. Then we can just do this. We'll save it. Save target as. I'm going to save it to my offline. I'm going to save it to my desktop of my computer, and it's the Hutchins listing agreement. I'm going to save that PDF to my desktop computer. That's all I wanted to do. Forms, because now, again, delivering it outbound. How are you getting signatures? Once you get those signatures, how are we getting those documents back in to your online file? Clicking on Documents tab. There's our survey that we attached automatically to our new file. So that content is there. Oh, you know what I just realized? I apologize. Forgot to show you how to insert the clause into our fillable form. We'll circle back to that here. I'll show you that in a moment or two. I apologize for not showing that while we were in Forms Editor. The content that we had created, that clause, that seller leaseback clause. Well, I'm on it. I apologize. I'm going to go back to Forms. I want to definitely show you where you can access that feature. And maybe we even saw something that was incorrect in the PDF, so we want to go back and make a change. So back to Forms. Exclusive right to sell, listing agreement. If within this agreement, there would probably be more of a purchase contract clause, but for this example, we'll utilize the clause that we have there. Maybe even wants to put that into the listing agreement from day one. We'll make everyone aware that his intention, or excuse me, her intention is to lease back for a period of time after any closing. Let's see if there's a good a good field for this. Those might be the best ones to use a little bit further up. So let's go ahead and just paste here. Activating the field right there between, I think it's paragraph 12, bottom left corner. Insert clauses. So top center there, insert clauses. That's where we see the clause content that we created. Create the content, see the language, add it to the selected clauses. From the middle column, add, then middle column, copy. Yes. Now there were too many characters within that field. See, there's a little plus sign there at the end. That indicates that there's too many characters in that clause for that field to accommodate. So nice feature here of Forms Editor. I activated that field again. Here, I'll put the cursor there right by the language. I could go to Format, Font. Because right now, by default, my default font style, Courier Bold, size 11, color black. Maybe for that particular field, current form field, I want to make it 9 point. Reduce the size of the font a little bit to allow the characters to fit. Managing, using Forms Editor there to reduce, and that's just a one-time to this one field on this one form. I'm not changing the font style for every form and every field. I just changed it for this particular field to accommodate that particular clause. That's where you find. Apologies for making us come back. Should have gotten that on the first run through, but created the content. Use the content to paste into your forms and contracts. Save those changes, that little save diskette there, top left side, save. Now we'll exit from Form Editor. We made the change, and now we want to reprint those to PDF. Take appropriate steps. Forms library. Documents now. Document that we had added automatically. If we want to upload, I would like to upload a document. Click on the go arrow. You're getting the signed documents back by scan, by email. Blue plus there to add the document in. Find that document. Where do we scan it? Where do we save it? To our desktop. Find the file, double click, add it into the upload feature. We can add more. If we had more documents, we could certainly add them in using that blue plus sign. Once we have them all, bottom right, click on Upload, get that PDF document into my online account. Now I can deliver it with outbound with other completed forms and uploaded documents, online and available for those delivery purposes. Just letting that upload. If you do have questions, please do type them into that chat section in the GoTo Training sidebar. Be happy to answer any questions regarding anything we have seen so far during this faster files better, or things that we haven't that you'd like to find out a little bit more about. Please do type them in. From here, so our documents are here, saved, online, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any internet-enabled device to be able to access them, review them, send them outbound. So if you get those requests for the survey, or you get the requests for seller's disclosures and so forth, you can take those documents that you have saved online. I would like to email or fax them outbound. Let's just do an email. I'm going to email these selected documents. I can send them as a PDF attachments or as links. Links a nice feature because you get a feedback loop. If you send a document out as a link, when your recipient gets the email, clicks on the link to open the document, you're notified. You know when they've clicked to open that document. So let's send it out. let's just choose a recipient here. Maybe you're sending copies back to your client. Clicking on the select just so you can show that import feature from your contacts. There's Molly. Clicking on Molly, she's added in. Anyone else? Carbon, blind, message. Are you expecting her to send anything back? Maybe she's signing that listing agreement. You'll always be prompted to send the cover sheet, so your recipient can access these cover sheets and fax back documents right to your online transaction file. Bottom right corner, little envelope there, little send email. Clicking on send email. And I agree with you that sometimes those are not the most convenient places for those action buttons, but they are consistently in those lower right-hand corners. So if it's not always convenient, at least it's consistent. You will always find them in the bottom right corner. You may have to scroll over a little bit or scroll down to find them, but they're always there in those bottom right corners. Mostly visible more often than not, but certainly always there in those corners. Documents, inbound receipt through fax back cover sheets and scans and uploads. Wanted to speak Incident Fax just a little bit more. Coming about that 45-minute mark, I have a feeling that no one would be too beat up if we ended a little bit early for this session. But just want to point out a little bit more of the Incident Fax. Just we kind of touched on it in the essentials, but want to look at it more now. That's why we have a few more minutes, because that really is, from the Lite View perspective, that really is, building a file faster with the templates and clauses and those features. So that really is all of that content that we wanted to cover for the Lite View. Getting to know the Pro, we'll see from the Pro view how you can add even more transaction management features to your templates and so forth. So just to see more features within the Lite and working with your files, Incident Fax, top right side, top third, top right, clicking on Incident Fax, because this is how you can fax to email, send someone an email message when you originated a paper fax. So the step is to define your recipients. Who is going to be receiving this fax? And you're really adding them in as an email recipient. So again, select from Molly from our list there. It's going to add Molly in as our email recipient to this Incident Fax cover sheet. So I could use this cover sheet anytime I had anything to send to Molly. I added her there a couple times. Anytime I needed to fax Molly something, I could have it faxed to her email. If I have a paper and I want to fax to her email, add her email recipient. Carbon copies, blind copies. What's the subject of your email message? Listing agreement. And the message, please review and call with questions. Are you expecting Molly to send anything back? Is she going to receive something, print it, and fax it back to you? Add a fax back cover sheet. Otherwise, create the Incident Fax. And again, these faxes can be used over and over and over again. These cover sheets can be used multiple times, over and over again. So they're not one and done. You set it next to your fax machine. Each time you have cause to use it, dust it off, and throw it in that paper tray to send the outbound fax. But you'll see that barcode technology is very similar to the fax back cover sheets, because it's the same barcode technology. It's the same toll-free number. So use it as the cover sheet. Dial the toll-free number. The receiving fax reads the barcode, converts your paper fax to a PDF document, delivers that PDF to the email address identified on your cover sheet. Fax to email technology. And didn't want to click on that name, but we'll just deal with it when it happens here. Instanet fax. So certainly a couple. Pardon me here as I close this email message. There we go. No, I don't. The slip of the button, and all of a sudden you activate all this other technology. Instanet faxing. Fax to email. Utilize these because again, the cover sheets really convert your paper fax machines into scanners. They turn your paper pages into PDF documents. Instanet fax delivers to your email recipients. Fax back delivers that back to your transaction files. Back to transactions, back to the home link. Be very mindful of everybody's time, very appreciative of the opportunity to present. I'm going to re-raise this audio message, scroll down a little bit, make sure everybody does have our contact information for our support here. Let me add it onto this audio message just in case you have a need for toll-free support. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can give them a call. That's live tech support representatives to answer calls, questions, and so forth. If you would like more recorded content, some how-do-whys, how did he create that Instanet fax cover sheet again? youtube.com/Instanet webinars. 1 to little 3-4 minute overview tutorials up to 60-minute complete overview sessions. Just let us know how we can best assist you with your training needs. I'm going to sign out of the audio portion here. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to type them in to that chat section. And until we webinar again, I hope you have a tremendous, tremendous day.